Make sure you guys are telling your friends, your families, and your loved ones. Please join us here. It's really kind of weird still being here. It's still an adjustment for me, so please bear with me while I kind of get used to this. It's great to meet some new people. I know some new people in the chat, so make sure you guys are following us, giving us a thumbs up, subscribing to us, whatever the fuck it is that people do over here to make sure you guys are getting all the notifications. Please do that. Now, today's topic is going to be interesting. Now, I wasn't going to talk about this. I wasn't going to bring this up because I think it's a little weird of a topic to kind of bring up. It's kind of like addressing the obvious in a sense that nobody talks about. You know, it's like everything that we know, but we don't want to say it. And the person that brings it up, the person that talks about it is kind of, it embarrasses you to just hear this conversation. Probably just seeing the title of it made you feel slightly uncomfortable because you realize that there is, in fact, gaps between countercultures, and then talking about mending them together is kind of, ugh. It's a weird topic. I don't even want to discuss it, but I felt like of all the people that should be discussing it, it should be numero uno. So we're going to get into this. I'm not excited about tonight's episode. I'm just letting you know right now, I'm not excited. So I will be sharing this with our friends. Again, I'm not even sure how I'm going to go about doing this. I'm probably going to, it's going to be a weird topic, guys. It's going to get awkward in here. And I apologize ahead of time. I do, sincerely. Now, let's see. There's a way that I can share it that's like not the page, but like the video. There's a way I can copy the link or something like that, I think. Let's see. There's a way to maximize it. There should be a way to share it as well. Let's see here. It's like how the fuck did I do this last time? There's a way to like share the actual video. I don't want that. What does this do? It does that. I don't want that. Fuck it, I guess. Let's see. I know I don't have to open up the app. Let's see here. Do this, I guess? Try it like this. Yep. Fuck it. We're doing it this way. That's how we're going to have to do it, I guess. Let's see here. Let's see. Search. Actually, I'll post it to my thing first. How do I get rid of that? How do I... Fuck it. There we go. There we go. All right. Is this it? No, it's just a link to the channel. God damn it. I'm going to figure this out momentarily. I'm going to fucking figure it out. I did it once. And I have no idea how the fuck I did it. Maybe it was because it was the replay that I was sharing. I don't fucking remember. But this is a bitch to do because then it's like one group at a time. Let's not get all too excited here at once. We got Candy in the building. How you doing, sweetheart? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Monday evening. We're just, again, going to be sharing this one group by one. Are these hip-hop groups even like popping off right now? Like, I feel like that they're not. I noticed that the SoundCloud group's pretty much dead unless you tell somebody you're better than Tupac. We're going to get into that. It's not going to be fully awkward all the way through. I am going to throw some shade and I'm going to fire some shots. So there is that I fully intend to do. And Juggalos all day. I'll share that. And then share to another group. Is there anybody else that's allowing me to post? Mainstream music group. Sure, we'll do that one. And then I'll share this over to the network and then call it good. Let's see. Where's the Sid Jones Network? There it is. And we are live. Bam. Okay. And then, of course, the fans of the Sid Jones page because I forgot to do that last time. Shit. Share to a group. Share to a group. Search. Thank you. Fans. This is Jones Network. There we go. All right. That's it for me. This is fucking exhausting. I really miss going live on Facebook. I'm not going to lie. I fucking miss it. For real. I fucking do. So here is this that we're going to be, I'm just going to share this to a couple of friends too, because why the fuck not? I really wish I could just share the video. I fucking don't like Twitch. I'm so irritated by it all. I'm probably just gonna jump back over to Facebook at this point. Fuck this. I'm easily irritated. So anyway, here we are. We're live, and we're gonna get into this topic. God, I'm really not happy. So here it is. Here we go. Now, there's various countercultures, right? And there's various like subgenres of music, and with the subgenres of music come the weird fans. In the horrorcore fans, you always got that weird guy at every horrorcore show. And I talk about this all the time because it just never gets old. You've got the weird performers, and then you get the yeesh fans that follow these artists. And this is where I get slightly irritated, is when I'm at a punk rock show and I'm having the time of my life, and you deal with a couple of drunks and shit like that, people, doing whatever, people rocking out the front of the stage. But for some reason at horrorcore shows, you're attracting that kind of mind, deranged and slightly fucked up. Hey, we've got Desvedoma. It's Alicia. How you doing, Alicia? So there are the weird things that happen, and I feel like that at that point, the countercultures could just kind of stay where they're at. Horrorcore really needs to stay away from my music, pretty please. And then the some like the deep like hip hop, Jesus Sid, you're starting to sound a little needs to kind of stay at bay at well. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, but you're wearing a Crass patch and a D12 t-shirt. So where do you stand in all this? Here's where I stand. Solid music. I don't feel like that there should be a counterculture to it. There shouldn't be an attire or a gear or whatever when it comes to a certain thing. If you want to wear a vest, you fucking can, unless you're Machine Gun Kelly. Stick to your pink dresses, you cunt. But when it comes to like people just wanting like some hip hop artists like are rocking their shit or whatever, that's fine. Where I draw the line is like with Young Jeezy stealing the colors and the back patch designs for his jackets of that of the Hells Angels. You're playing with fire there, pal. And so there are times where there should be some sort of division and separation, and you do your thing and I'll do mine. More importantly, it's the fact that somebody who's been listening to Biggie Smalls and Tupac their whole life might not understand why Body Count is such a great fucking band. I mean, that's let's be honest here. Body Count's fucking amazing, but you can't count on Biggie Smalls and Tupac fans to count on them being decent and having an opinion on it. Same thing with diehard Lil Peep fans. If they heard Body Count, they'd probably fall to their knees and cry and do drugs and drink lean. And that's what they would do because, well, that's what Lil Peep fans do. They take fentanyl for fun. And so bridging these gaps is rather difficult. But understanding that they all exist is kind of why we're on this platform. Like we got some people on here that cover hip hop and they're much better at it than I am. I pretty much got this realization when I worked for my former company and they said, hey, you need to really do your reading and your research on hip hop. I'm like, I fucking don't because I don't care that much. And I'm going to tell you this right now. If I don't care and it's of no interest to me, I'm going to have zero passion behind it, which is why tonight's episode is going to get slightly off par because there's some things that I am passionate about. Like I love D12's Devil's Night album and the mixtape, which by the way, you probably didn't know existed, but I cannot fucking stand D12 World. I just fucking can't. Alicia writes, there's a difference between adopting an aesthetic to your interests and putting up a front. I agree. And to further your point, when there's people that like whatever, I'm not going to tell someone what they can and cannot wear. I just think that Machine Gun Kelly hasn't quite earned the right to wear one of these. In my honest opinion, I can think that all I want. He's Machine Gun Kelly. The guy couldn't even retaliate against Eminem, where he came out and said, after I heard Kill Shot, I was like, nah, I'm done, dude. I'm done. And people are like, nah, he fucking owned Eminem. Now, if that were the case, he'd come back with something. He even admitted on the Breakfast Club interview. They get these biased people that they don't like Eminem, so they immediately like Machine Gun Kelly. And that kind of, again, when you've got these countercultures that are like, we're talking about bridging gaps and all, they can't even bridge the gaps in their own fucking communities. Look at the punk rockers. The people that are involved in punk, you've got the PC crew, you've got the Johnny Rotten crew, and it's so divided. I mean, as America is one of the finest countries, I'm sure, the most divided, and the rest of the world will speculate on that, and they'll even offer some commentary. But the countercultures are quite divided. When you look at the Juggalo culture, they're divided. When you look at the punk rock culture, they're divided. When you look at the heavy metal culture, they're very divided. Like, they're very much like not together-ish at all. And so the way that I see it is that if we can't even bridge the gaps in our countercultures, we really shouldn't even be talking about bridging the gaps between countercultures. But what we should do is find mutual enemies. That's what we should, because nothing brings people closer together than mutual hatred and mutual enemies. That creates an alliance. So for me, my enemies are it's a list, like a fucking it's alphabetical order. It's a fucking lot to kind of consume. But one of the things that I look at when I'm dealing with music and music artists and covering rap and things like that, I do it simply because, and I interview the people that I do because I feel like they've got a story. They're interesting. I'm not going to interview every hip hop artist. I'm not even going to interview every single punk rock band. And I'm certainly not going to interview every single heavy metal band. I'm going to interview the people who I want to interview. And that's that. If there's no passion there for it, I'm probably not going to do it. End of fucking story. But when we're talking about these gaps with like, oh, the music is already there. Ludacris has done features with Sum 41. That song exists. We've talked about it a couple of times, maybe last night. I fucking have lost track of time. But we have discussed that, where hip hop and punk rock are really starting to combine and make music together. Mainly because it sounds fucking dope when you add drums and guitar to fucking anything. Body count is evidence of this. But if we can't come together as countercultures, we have no business coming together as whatever. But we can. Like, I've got friends that are in the hip hop scene, and there's people in the punk rock scene that I wouldn't mind seeing hung from a tree. Like, I just wouldn't mind. I think they could swing back and forth, and I'd walk up to them and be like, yeah, he's hung up. They even disemboweled him. That's a nice touch. I like that. And that's exactly how I'd feel about it. But when I look at the punk rock scene, did I get a little touchy for people? But when I look at the punk rock scene, I look at the hip hop scene, like the hip hop scene, they're shooting each other, like whatever. And then in the punk rock scene, it's like, I'm offended by everything, which punk was never supposed to be that. Punk was never supposed to be, I'm offended by XYZ. Punk was never supposed to be, this upsets me. Punk was never supposed to be that. And it turned into that. It turned into, that sounds like a right-wing argument. And because you don't like offended people and you don't like the politically correct and whatnot, that is so right-wing. Yeah, but you're a cunt. So, I mean, you like this new age of punk rockers, I was a cunt hair away from voting for Trump. I'm just letting you know that right now. This political culture that we're in, I was that close to voting for the guy just because I thought it would be a vote against them, much like how their vote for Trump was a vote against the people that supported Trump, the Trump supporters. And I don't mind that, and I don't blame them for that, because when I see these wackos waving their fucking Trump flags, I'm like, and especially after the election, I'm like, that's embarrassing. Like, I'm embarrassed for you. I don't want to see that. And when they've got their kids with them, it's a fucking god-awful situation. So when it comes to the music scenes, they're kind of the same way. There's people that are split on politics. There's people that are split on whatever. And so it doesn't seem like music brings us together as much as we'd like to think it does. How fucking sad. But the truth of it all, and the truth of it is, if you look further into our past when it comes to music, you actually see there was a great divide back then. It's just become more so now because of the internet. You've got people that say, hey, get this guy. I don't agree with this guy, so I don't want him here in this group. That's cunt shit. If it's, I don't like this guy, choose not to see it, and I click out of the video, you are a decent human being and you deserve to keep your life. You should not be put down, as it were. You should not have to be euthanized. You've done okay by having an opinion and saying, I don't want to see this, versus I don't like it, therefore nobody else should see it. Courtesy of the left. And then when you look at the right, they're the exact opposite, where they got to shove their opinions down your throat and you got to hear all of it. But the politically correct, they bawl their eyes out and they cry. They've got no balls. They've got no testosterone. They've got no fortitude. Where is the testosterone these days? It's fucking gone. Look at the testosterone levels right now. Look at what the dudes are wearing. Skinny tight jeans, no fucking fortitude, no fucking dignity. That's what's happening right now as we speak. There are people that are dressed up as like, I think this is so cool with these bright fucking colored foo-foo shirts and shit like that. Like, there's no balls anymore. There is no dignity and fortitude in that sense. Candy writes, I gotta go. I'll be back. Sounds good, Candy. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you greatly. So the more that I think about this, and the more that I'm breaking everything down and looking at everything, the more that I'm starting to realize our system is kind of gauged for this to happen. But at the same time, these countercultures, these genres of music, they're kind of part of this whole thing. You know, they've escalated the situation significantly. And it's sad. It's sad. But what can you do? Like, what are you going to do when you're sitting there saying, hey, listen, this is what's happening. We got to fix this. We got to do this, that, and the other. Well, you've got a few options here. You can either row your boat, continue moving downstream, or you can get the fuck off at the next rock. Like, that's what you can do. Honestly and truly. I don't know how more compassionate I can be when I say it's not your music, it's your attitude, it's your mentality. Now, I will say this. If you look at the market right now for these countercultures and things like that, it's actually kind of like watered down. It's become more about the fans than it has become about the bands. The Sex Pistols clearly aren't around anymore. Public Image Limited not around anymore. The Ramones died off in like 96. So a lot of that's gone. Pez turned into Billy Talent, and people argue on whether Billy Talent is punk rock or not. And that's kind of what the punk rock group is. It's kind of like, well, is that really punk? And then that's their argument till the end of times. But then you look at what's going on in hip hop, and there's not really an argument about what real hip hop is. They're just saying, oh, no, I'm hip hop, not rap. Okay, I could give no fucks. I don't need to really know the difference, and no, I don't care, because that's not my culture. That's not what I do. And that's not what I'm doing. I'm not focused on that. What I'm focused on is my life, the music that I want to listen to, but we pick our battles poorly. So before we even talk about bridging the gaps between metal and rock, musically, it's happening. Like, I'm just here to tell you, it's happening. Like, punk rockers and metal, like Post Malone did a track with Ozzy Osbourne. Like, that's happening. Do the fan base have to get along? Fuck no. Fuck no. So the answer, should we bridge these gaps? The answer is no. But if you fuck with somebody, if you're friends with somebody, if you like their music, you like their production, you like what they do, make it happen. But it shouldn't be a forced thing. And that's the case for everything. Nothing should be forced. And just because you guys listen to the same band doesn't mean you guys have to get along. I mean, you'd hope that playing music would bring people together. Like, you could be in the middle of like ready to square off. Like, I'm about ready to give Alicia a strawberry shortcake, and she's like, oh, but wait, the Sabaton song's on. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, I love Sabaton. Like, hopefully it's at least a mid-distraction, or at least it brings us together and makes it so we can celebrate. Let's hope that is the fucking case. But it's not always that, is it? So, the more that I see it, the more that I analyze this, the more that I break this down, the more that I have to give my idea that the music scenes, the environments, the countercultures, and so on, they're going to have their divides. Like, there's some people in the Juggalo community, if I had the opportunity to, I'd beat them down with a baseball bat. Then I'd be singing, beat on the brat, beat on the brat, beat on the brat with a baseball bat. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No. I would do that in a heartbeat. I'd be singing that song and beating them with a fucking baseball bat. When there's other people, I would fucking lay down my life for them. And there's not many. There's not fucking many, because, I mean, would I really risk all this for just somebody? No, you got to be something special at that point. But again, my point remains. Should we, in fact, combine these cultures? We can't get along as is. Now, do we fix that? No. There is no fixing that. Like, people can tell you that if Twisted went back over to Psychopathic Records, everything would be fine. That it wouldn't be. Let's be honest. It fucking would not be. The Juggalos would still be hashing it out because we love conflict. I'm going to tell you this right now. The reason why so many people watched that ICP interview was because they knew they were going to talk about the juicy stuff. They knew that they were going to be talking about the controversial shit, the things that we want to hear, even though we've heard it 100 fucking times. But if it was ICP, like, oh yeah, we went platinum on fucking Amazing Juggalos, it's like, oh cool, ICP's fucking patting themselves on the back, whatever, I'm done. Like, I'm done here. But when you look at it at the standpoint of like, ooh, there's some juicy drama going on over there. We love conflict and we love drama. As a society, that's what we love. We love violence. I mean, shit, The Walking Dead was was probably the most violent television show of its time. Of its fucking time. I don't understand why my phone keeps going to sleep. I really don't like this Twitch app. I'm not a fan of it, or at least the Twitch on mobile anyway. But anyways, whatever. So, we love conflict. We love battling each other. So if there's a chance for a beef, we're gonna indulge like motherfuckers. If the Dropkick Murphys came out tomorrow and said they don't fuck with this band, that's what everybody would be talking about. It's a Dropkick Murphys versus this band. And then it would be everybody being like, Murphys is better than this band, and this band is better than the Murphys. Same shit. Same fucking shit. It's not hip hop. It's not punk rock. It's not metal. It's not just this group over here or this group over here. Fucking moms that stay home and watch Jerry Springer reruns believe in that shit. Candy writes, husband is a big Walking Dead fan. Not me, though. I like The Walking Dead. I guess season 10's coming to an end, and normally I'd be sad, but after they killed off Carl, I kind of felt like they did me a favor by not getting too, like, they kind of got rid of my emotional attachment to the show. God knows I still love Negan, though. Negan's the shit. I fucking love Negan. But I don't mind The Walking Dead. I find it rather entertaining. But again, we like conflict. I write books, all right? You see this here? I write books. Now, in a conflict, that's one of the things that a book must have, that a story must have, because that's what captivates. Have you seen the hero's journey little cycle thing? There's always a conflict because there's something for the character to grow, to make it interesting. That's like law, that there has to be conflict. So if that's the case in a fucking book, do we not live our lives like that? Think about it. You and so-and-so from the fucking appliance department at Home Depot are over in the corner and you're like, oh my God, did you see what Sherry was doing in the break room? Oh my God. Gets back to Sherry that these two cunts were talking behind her fucking back. Becomes like high school. Get where I'm going here? And they're just chit-chatting behind her back. The next thing you know, there's people like, oh no, I stand with Sheila. I think she's a great woman. And there's the other people like, oh no, I like Nicole because Nicole's fucking the manager and she can give me my extra days off she wants to. And there's this, and it doesn't even have to be up front. Like it can be catty shit where they talk behind people's backs. That's your workforce, and the workforce is no different than high school. Except for the fact you're getting fucking paid and fucked. So again, kind of like high school. And that's our society. So with countercultures, you can't really, like when that whole Johnny thing came up, even Fox News pulled that shit. Think about it. Fox News even came out and was saying, oh, we've interviewed Johnny Rotten before. Yeah, 10 fucking years ago. Yeah, interviewed him in 2010 before he went on his 2010 fucking Public Image Limited tour, the first tour in 18 years on Red Eye, which means it was a late night Fox show. Really? And it wasn't even one of your big dudes that interviewed the guy. So what happened is you found out that Johnny Rotten was supporting Trump, and then you turned around and you're like, oh, I did an interview with this guy. Milking much? Like, that's even below a standard for I mean, I would probably about do that, and I've done it. I've fucking done it. I'm guilty of it. But that's kind of like below Fox News' standard, you'd think. Alicia writes, I stopped watching a ways ago, but Negan is daddy. Negan's fucking great. I love Negan. He is amazing. I also have a theory that Rick is actually the bad guy and not Negan. It's an interesting theory. We should probably get into that when they air The Walking Dead Season 10. Might be a good topic. So anyway, the more that I was thinking about this, like, oh, can't we all just get along? We can't. Like, I'm going to shatter all your hopes and dreams. We cannot get along. We will never get along. Countercultures will never merge. Now, you're going to have friends that, oh yeah, I'm fucking down with, like, metal bands and shit like that. You'll find it on Loudwire. Like, it's such a weird thing that Loudwire did a top 10 of it, of 10 rap artists that were inspired by rock musicians. Well, that's cool, but it's so weird and so obscure that they're able to do a top 10 of it, and people discussing like how that's really weird, how they actually influence style and whatnot. That's how fucking engaged we are with who's who. And there's maybe 8 of those rappers that I'd fucking A, no, or B, yeah, they fucking, of course, were inspired by this person. So, yeah, there you go. There you have it. And I did not want to discuss this topic tonight. I really didn't, but I felt like just to kind of get it out the way that I want to get to attack all the countercultures. I get to attack everybody, which is kind of my thing. I get to just take my Negan bat and just start blowing out people's fucking skulls, like fucking going Glenn on them. It's great. It's excellent. We're fucking humans, never going to happen. Thank you. And I love this whole, can't we just get along and whatever. But let me give you an example of something. There's people in the fucking network that fucking hate me. There's people that work for me that fucking hate me. I'm not going to like everybody. And even if you work for me, doesn't mean we're going to be best of fucking friends. Okay? And then there's people that didn't like me or did like me decided they didn't like me anymore and decided to quit the network. I mean, I'm not fluent in Cantonese, but I'm pretty sure that was a cunt thing to say and do. And so the more I think about it, and the more that I really kind of hone in on this topic, it shouldn't even be up for discussion. Second, if we can't even be civil with each other, and I'm talking to people that I fucking work with, then how the fuck do you think I'm going to give a fuck that I'm going to give you an extra hand in that? Like, I'm going to, because you're hip hop, I gotta, what? Treat you different? Treat you like you're fucking special? Because I listen to punk rock, I was told that I was not shit. I was told that my heroes died and punk rock died in the 1980s, 1970s, some shit like that. And these were from people that were hip hop heads. I don't mean just like hip hop heads, like, oh, I like hip hop. No. These are from the people that go watch those horrorcore bands that got like fucking issues of their own and have this ego issue because they got to host at Simon's After Dark 10, 15 times to a total of maybe 5, 6 people and had their birthday bash. When their birthday bash was announced, made hand gestures like this. Like, those are the motherfuckers that got a problem with me and punk rock. And I'm thinking to myself, your opinion means very little to me. You are what we call a reptilian brain. You are you're a Neanderthal. You have the IQ of a Tickle Me Elmo, and that I would take as a compliment at best. Is counterculture the same thing as subculture? Subculture, counterculture, tomato, in my opinion. I'm not going to break down the definitions of the difference, but counterculture is to like counter something, to be the response to something, to be on the opposition of something. Like, it's counter to counteract or to respond to. So when glam rock came around, you had the hardcore movement. And the hardcore movement was kind of the response against, well, we don't want to listen to glam rock. We don't want to listen to what's popular. So that's how the underground got stirred up. Now, what happened is you've got these motherfuckers that will shit on artists like Tom McDonald. They'll shit on artists like Post Malone because they're so underground and so devoted. And I'll be underground forever, which means they're going to be nothing forever. And you've got that kind of mentality where it's like it's underground or nothing. I'm like, so you have no intentions on if you got a multi-million record deal, which let's be honest, yeah, and you rejected it, then okay, that's where you're at. And are there decent ways to get some attention from the underground? I mean, yeah, but it's just slightly above where you're at. People are thinking Psychopathic Records is this because it's going to get them notoriety and what have you. Magic Ninja Entertainment's got twisted and they've got these artists and they just started Welcome to the Underground. So getting signed will probably put me up here. Here's the kicker, man. Here's the kicker. Those artists, they're not failing. Neither of these record labels are failing. They're changing. But with that said, just because you've got that hatchet man, even if you were blessed with one by Jump Steady himself, if he graced you with a hatchet man, if the Juggalos are like, yeah, you're cool, man, I get to hang out with you and shit, that still doesn't mean they fuck with your music. It means you get to be somebody and you get to be popular. You get that little bit of a fame within that group. Well, let me tell you something. And Crazy McCormick brought this to my attention. No one's going to like the fact that I'm saying this, but I'm going to say it. The Juggalo world is a very low glass ceiling. It is. It's one of the reasons why I still hang out with the Juggalos and things like that, but I didn't want to make my living doing the Juggalo thing because there's not much, and I want to ascend and I want to break glass ceilings. I want to break records. I want to do these things. And I'm trying to do it with now 2 viewers. And I'm doing all right. My book comes out next month, so that's going to be my 6th published book. I'm signing a contract deal next week with a company. I work for Asylum and I work here at the Sid Jones Network. And I've got plenty of interviews under my belt. I got to go down to South Carolina, as did Candy. We got to go rock out to a bunch of shows. It was fucking epic. It was excellent. We got to do that. But I will say this. If you look at where we're at now, and you look at what we're doing now, then you'll realize really fucking quick, that the times, they are, in fact, a-changing. But us as people are not. We still have that fucking brain that we had for fucking 250 years when we established this country. Same kind of shit. I mean, you look at the political system, they worship the founding fathers, right? They're like, oh, that was great times, even though they forget that George Washington was the one that instilled the fucking whiskey tax. Meh. So new question. Juggalo was a counterculture in the mainstream. So what is the new counterculture that you were referring to? I'm referring to countercultures in general. So like when you look at the Juggalo scene, it was a counterculture. It was. But the best way to get the Juggalo community up a rung on the ladder is to create a counterculture against the Juggalos, and that will in fact raise them up higher. Think about it. If you've got a group of people and you start your own movement, right? And it's like anti-Juggalo, or it's like the opposition of the Juggalos when the Juggalos get popular and shit, or if the Juggalo scene gets extremely popular, whatever. You could end up developing a culture that's counterintuitive to that. People would argue that Magic Ninja Entertainment is the counterculture to the Juggalos, and that makes sense to me. That could be the case. In the case of punk rock, I mean, right now it's basically just people whining and bitching. It's what it is. Like, can't we just get back to talking about punk rock and not politics, bitch? You have no idea how deep punk rock gets into politics, do you? But you've got different people. Of different, groups of punk rock that think differently. Some people are extremely political. Some of them prefer the Dead Kennedys. Others prefer ska. Others prefer Green Day. And people like me who have the best taste in music listen to the Dropkick Murphys all goddamn day. So I listen to Black Flag. I listen to the Ramones. I listen to the classics. I mean, for fuck's sakes, have you not seen my vest? So it's my style of music. I don't feel like there's got to be something to like be counterintuitive to, except in a lot of these other movements. Now, what I would say is there should be a counter to this cancel culture and the politically correct culture that's venomizing, poisoning, and is tainting the punk rock scene. I firmly believe that. I feel like that we should annihilate the politically correct culture. I really do. I think that we should get rid of the PC thing, and in order to do that, we got to get rid of those people. So am I suggesting a mass genocide of these people? I'm suggesting that if they want to cancel us, we should cancel them. And then in turn, we're canceled. Right? People think that you're offensive, and so they don't want anybody to watch you. They don't want anybody to listen to what you say. That's how this new punk rock scene works. But I promise you, I'm going to do it in quick. I'm still just trying to break the low glass ceiling of the joke. Yeah, no. I listen, Candy, I'm not saying everybody. But I've been to countless of shows in Detroit, and I'm here to tell you, there's some motherfuckers. They're like, hey, yo, shout out to the fucking headliners and shit, which, by the way, are not in the building, just to let everybody know. While the openers on stage, odds are the headliners are not there. And there's like 3 or 4 people in there. And this, again, comes to an oversaturated market, and people knowing when they look at the flyer, when they see the words, there's 2 words you want to avoid, and it's and more. Well, there's already 15 artists on that bill. Do I really want to get there early, or am I going to wait? Like, I remember the big deal was to be the first one in the door. You remember those days? You remember where you had to be the first one so you could be at the barricade to witness the fucking amazement that you were about to see? And now it's like, 2 pieces playing. What the? I don't want to. I'm just gonna fucking. I don't have to wait in line in the cold. I get to go do my thing. I'm fine. And people started realizing that. People started realizing the later you show up, you don't got to stand in line in the cold, right? And you realize that your favorite band of all time, who's about to headline, isn't going to be on for 5 hours thanks to 35 openers. It's not going to happen. So that demand for concerts has gone down. Now you don't have the people that are that invested to stand out in the fucking cold. Even a lot of these underground shows where, oh yeah, you've got these artists, but now in order to watch your favorite, you must muster through these fucking 35 openers, and you're like, 35? Ugh. And you might hear like a good song or two, but it's buried. It's buried with all these acts. Welcome to the underground. It's actually kind of bullshit for all the open commerce, because the only time people ever get there is when the headliners are about to go on. No one really shows up till 20 minutes before then. I want to do Rob Zombie and Osborne show. The crowds stay in line for Zombie and only came out to see Ozzy. Okay. Fuck yeah. People have no commitment to the whole experience anymore. And the thing is, I don't blame them for having that, because I've been to shows where I'm like, ugh. Like if you're going to have openers, right? And we talked about this last week, I believe we did, where we talked about how to put on a stellar show. And that's to maybe, just maybe, have some fucking standards for who's opening for your show. Because you got to remember, while these openers are not on your label and da-da-da-da-da, and these are the locals that you're allowing to perform for $3,000, you need to remember that there needs to be some sort of quality check in the music and stage performance. And you're going to water that out real quick. Imagine if you're an artist, right? You're an aspiring artist. You want to give it your all. And one of your heroes tells you, you're shit. Now, to someone like Candy, if one of her heroes ever said that, I'm sure they wouldn't. But if they did, that would push her to go into the fucking studio and continue doing her thing. Same thing with Twiggy Dro. He'd go right back into that studio and he'd work his ass off. To the majority of the people that are out there, though, they wouldn't. In fact, they would be like, you know what? My favorite artist just told me that I suck. I'm just going to go back to being a dishwasher. And that's the world that we live in. And what that would do is it would get rid of the oversaturation quick. I mean, it would be a holocaust for the fucking openers and shit like that. For this underground scene, we could purge it to death. And just doing things like that. Imagine Twisted Insane Clown Posse, Boondocks, Blaze Dead Homie, fucking even Tom McDonald, right? And Joker, if he ever decided he was going to do a live show, which, funny, he never will. Open mic session, $5 for 10. No, I don't even agree with that. I fucking no. Bring back quality to live performances and music. Not up for discussion. Non-negotiable. We got to stop turning these concerts into parties and hangouts. We got to go back to the way that concerts were before this oversaturation where everybody wanted to become a music artist. Just one way the industry shoots itself in the foot. Thank you. Now, what I'm going to say is this, though, when they bring out the openers and then the headliners, that's another bad idea. Now, if you notice, people leave right around, the middle set. They do. For some reason, about 4 hours in, people leave. And there's people that don't even really stick around for the headliners. They're like, oh, wow, this was fun. I got to see the band that I wanted to see or the group that I wanted to go see, so I'm out now. I'm done. And there's people like, oh, yeah, I'll hang out at the festival, but I also got to work in the morning, so I got to be out by 6 o'clock. Oh, the show's not over till 11? I'll see how long I can last. They get to about 7:30, and they're like, I'm done, and then they go home, right? Shows run too late. We run them in the middle of the week, and we also forget that people also work weekends. This whole idea of, oh, I get weekends off is a bit of a myth for the majority of people out there. Because if you work at places, you fill out an application, one of the things they say is weekends are a must. That's one of the credentials that they have in their application process. Weekends are a must. There go your weekend plans. There go, thank God it's Friday. But fucking people, man. It's just, oh my God. I knew I was going to get worked up and I knew I was going to get pissed off about this. But listen, I've been to some shows that have been fucking great front to back, right? But mainly, those were international bands, right? You had, with Dropkick Murphys, there's 2, 3, 4 bands. When Public Image Limited played, it was just them. You paid $35 to watch Public Image Limited. No openers, no co-headliner, just Public Image Limited. And I was out of there by about 10 o'clock at night, which is perfect for a guy like me, even though this was 10 years ago. But still, one of the nights of my life, man. I proudly wear that Public Image Limited patch on my vest to commemorate that night. Because that, to me, not only showed a headliner can go all night. I mean, they'll take breaks. But those are the shows that I miss. I miss those. I miss where the band would play for 90 fucking minutes. I miss it when the headliner would play for damn near 2 hours. God, I miss those days. But you don't see it in the underground scene. So when you're seeing Sid Jones go out the back door and hop in his fucking car and whoop, gone before even the co-headliner gets on, my job is done, is what that means. That means I did the setup, I helped out. Now that the headliners are on, they're doing their thing, I can leave. It's the same thing what happens at WWE main events. When that guy is celebrating, holding up his championship belt, everyone else got in their cabs and left. That's how it works, man. You can still have openers. There are a lot of really decent ones out there that are worth investing into. But that's the thing. You're not investing into the openers. The openers are investing into this opening, into essentially the label for a chance to shine. right? So again, you're talking about hashing out the whole thing. Maybe what should happen is people should start telling their friends, your music sucks. If your music is bad, we should go back to being fucking honest. That's all I'm saying. Corrupt Doll Emily, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you greatly. Now, I'm gonna add this. I'm gonna add this little tidbit here. I don't care what you listen to. I don't care what's in your CD player if you even have one. I don't care what's on your Spotify, what's on your Pandora. I don't care what you got downloaded in your fucking iPod, your iPhone. I don't give a fuck what it is that you listen to. But please, don't give a fuck about what I'm listening to. Know this. I'm excited for that new Dropkick Murphys album. It's going to be fucking solid. I will be reviewing it. I'm not excited for Yum Yum Flower. I'm very hesitant on it, but maybe it'll be good. But either way, I'm going to review it. Please support your good friends. Please support good local acts and not just local acts. If a band is dope, then I've got friends. I have got friends. Matter of fact, I've got a friend who is a big name in the underground, who's climbing up that ladder, did it from the bottom, worked his way up. He did it with dignity and fortitude. And that man is Extra Overdose. And he has also endorsed me. He has also signed my petition to be put on the 2024 ballot. Yes. So thank you, Extra Overdose, for that. A huge salute to you, brother. It means the world to me. It's good to know that I got somebody who's got my back. Because XO and I, we are inseparable. I fuck with his music. I like what he does. He's a great guy. We do business together. And guess what? We've got even similar influences, inspirations, and music that we listen to outside of our jobs. You got to remember, Extra Overdose is good at hip-hop, so he sticks with hip-hop. But he's even said it. I would love to feature with Marilyn Manson. I think that would be dope. I would love to see Extra Overdose and Marilyn Manson. That would just be an interesting dynamic. But you look at what Sid Jones is about to do, and what Sid Jones is going to do is he's going to review that. That is my job. That is what I'm going to do. Now, when I look at what everyone else is doing, I'm thinking to myself, that's not what I'm focused on. People can do what they're going to do fucking regardless. I'm going to do what I'm going to do fucking regardless. I don't need to be friends with anybody, but I've got friends, and I've got people that with one phone call, I can at least have a conversation with somebody to say, hey, maybe you guys should do this. Maybe you guys should link up and see how your music is chemistry, how your performances are, and maybe you guys should do a tour together. Maybe you guys should fucking go do this together. Because that's how we ascend. That is how we rise. Think about that for a moment. When you look at somebody and you think with all your heart that maybe, just maybe, this person's got what it takes, and you've got that kind of a connection, maybe you should kind of help them out a bit. And what that'll also do is that'll hopefully, when you get that one friend, it's like, hey man, what'd you think of my demo? It was it was good. It was good. It was fine. It was something. Are you going to show it to that one guy you're friends with? No. And that should hopefully be the hint that they're not good. And then they'll stop making music. But in order to do that, you got to crush ego in the underground hip hop scene. That's what you got to do. Candy writes, check out my new single I released. It's fucking dope. I'm fucking dope. And Candy is a dope artist. Don't get me wrong. Candy's fucking dope. I've listened to some of her husband's music. He's not that bad either. But and neither is Twiggy and neither is Extra Overdose. But I'm saying there are artists out there I'm not a fan of. What's his face? Knowledge the MC. I can't stand his fucking music. I mean that from the bottom of my fucking heart. And I fucking hate it. I mean, I'm trying to be nice and I'm trying to be decent about it. I fucking hate his music. I hate his attitude. I hate his mentality and I hate his ideology. There's nothing about this guy that I really find to be redeemable. There, I fucking said it. You want me to go continue? Go down this list? All right, I thought Two Piece was absolute fucking trash. Next time I have to hear broken dreams, I'm going to break someone's fucking dreams with a fucking 12 gauge. All right? And then I look, and there's so many others that I can't. Suicide Saints, not a fan. I'm not a fan of the Suicide Saints. There, I fucking said it. You want the exclusives and shit like that? Come to the Twitch where I can give you my opinion on artists by fucking name. All right? And I've heard some of the Bender Boys music. They are the absolute fucking worst. I've heard some of their shit. It's fucking god-awful and terrible. Matter of fact, I hope Lord Zero tomorrow slits his wrists. I would pay. I would buy his OnlyFans if he was going to slit his wrists. I would fucking do it. Wow, really? That's awesome. Thank you so much for the promo. Love you to pieces, baby girl. Dope. Can you introduce my roommate to Wiki Queen and she fucks with it? That's dope. I've gotten compared to Simon Cowell when it comes to cooking music or listening to music or reviewing music. You don't cook music, I don't think, unless it's a new thing now. But I'm going to say this, and I'm going to get off here in a second. But I just want to say to you guys, we're not going to be bridging any gaps anytime soon. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if your friends were wondering, can't we all just come along and come together? No, because that point's been done with. Once the Insane Clown Posse did an interview with Chris Hansen, there was no bridging things back with Twisted. And if you don't think that things are going to happen in your own counterculture, which is actually disintegrated, don't think for a second that different countercultures and various countercultures are going to get along with each other. Now, what you will find is that when people actually find out that you listen to ICP, like, they kind of look at you different. Why? Because they've got a bad fucking reputation. Not ICP, but the Juggalos. Like, shit, you affiliate with those people? I'm like, whoa. Not the short bus ones. I fuck with the decent Juggalos out there. There are fucking few of them. And so when I go to punk rock shows and I'm like, I'm going to get fucking hassled for this here tattoo, I just tell them the story about Steve and I, and everything's fine again. And there was even a guy down in South Carolina. It's like, yeah, I fuck with ICP. He's like, I listen to it. He didn't seem proud by any means. He wasn't like, I'm a down ass Juggalo. I'm Juggalo. It wasn't like that. It was just kind of like, yeah, I listen to ICP. You what? Yeah, I listen to ICP. It's something I listen to. I'm not proud, but I do partake. It's kind of like finding out that your friend does drugs, and you're like bashing on drugs for like 45 minutes to an hour, and the whole time they're like, I just did a line of coke. I hope they didn't notice that I took a little pincher, a little off the top, if you will. I fuck with the decent Juggalos, and the thing is, there's not that many left. There's really not that many decent Juggalos left. They're not, like, they're starting to either fall off the face of the earth. They're starting to fucking die out, or they're starting to fucking vanish, or they're starting to get greedy, or they're trying to make it so that way they're climbing some ladder, which I don't even know where the top of the ladder is in the Juggalo world. I assume it's Psychopathic Records. I assume it climbs up like this and it just funnels in there, and it's a really tight squeeze, and there's a minimum capacity. So I don't quite understand. Like, when I found out that there's all these different Juggalo podcasts, I'm like, there can only be a few giant Juggalo commentators. There can only be a few of them, and I don't want to be one of them. I just don't. I want to discuss the things that I want to discuss fucking regardless. I fuck with Sid. I fuck with me too. I love me dearly. There's nobody that loves me more than me. Oh, Lord, it's hard to be humble. Anyways, so I think about this occasionally. Like I was on the phone with my friend today. He didn't like the fact that I said that the Juggalo scene was quite minute, was quite small. I said that if you're trying to get somewhere, like the Juggalo scene, it kind of, there's not really where you can go, especially in my line of work. So I kind of want to branch out. I want to go fuck with the punk rock scene. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I have never been flown out to a hip hop show. So all these hip hop artists, like, I got money, dog. I got gold, dog. I got platinum chain, dog. Never flew me out to a show. It was fucking punk rockers in South Carolina that flew me out to a show. Let me be fucking clear on that. It was punk rockers that flew me out to shows. Now, these hip hop artists, not these Juggalos. It was punk rockers. It was fucking punk rockers in Lancaster, South Carolina. Was Trey Pounds flying me out to New Hampshire? No, because I stopped. I don't work with the guy. Was Rocks TV flying me out anywhere? No. I was in a fucking van with 8 other people, one of them being DJ Dankish, not one of my favorite people in the world. And that's where I was at. And I'm now Sid Jones doing my thing, left Rocks TV a year ago. Matter of fact, December, it was December 17th. So we are less than a month away from the 1 year mark that I quit Rocks TV. So as of this time last year, I was still working for Rocks TV. I was still working for Rocks TV this time last year. And now I'm off doing my own thing, and I am making more money now than I was with Rocks TV. I'm happy. I'm a billion times happier doing what I'm doing now than I was over at Rocks TV. And I've taken on more work. I've taken on more water. I've taken on more labor. So when I was working for that previous company, and I'm doing what I'm doing now, I'm getting flown to places. First class, I might add. First class. First class. I mean, which basically just means I get to get on the plane first and get off first, because you don't get utensils and food anymore. You get a little lunch bag when you fly, which is fine. I still get on the plane first and I get off the plane first. It's a great thing. Sam Sleaze writes, Candy, stick to being cute. That statement made you look really dumb. What? Sid jerks off to the painting of himself every night. The top of the ladder is ICP in the flesh and M&E. It was almost a year ago, Sid. Yes, I'm aware. Thanks, Sam. Great advice. Jesus Christ, man. No, but you're right. In the top of the world, in the top of the Juggalo world, it is ICP and Twisted. They're the ones up here, and it's always going to be that way. Candy's right until they fucking die off, which the dinosaurs are going extinct. Who's going to take that vacant throne? Who's going to climb up that rung? Who's going to do what they can? Who's going to do what they can do to make the best of a situation? Who's going to reach up and grab it and take it down and then have a seat at that throne? Who's going to do it? Who's going to do it? Or can it be done? Maybe that's why ICP is selling their facility. Maybe that's why ICP is like, no, when we die, this whole thing is just going to be in like memory of. Like, I don't think that they're ready to pass on the torch to another artist like that. Violent J said it as much. We're not signing other artists. We're not signing other artists. We're not signing anymore. We're not doing anymore. None of that. What we're doing right now is simply just sticking to it. We are simply, right now, as you see it, it's coming to an end shortly, very shortly. They've got like, what, 5 more CDs to do? Right? Because this is going to be their 5th one, so they've got 6 more. They actually have 6 more CDs that they can come up with, and then they're done. 665, 6, and then 5 albums after that, and then done. Fucking done. Right? So, it is a very narrow place, and where's it going to go? What Twisted's busy doing the rock shit. Twisted's trying to get involved in my camp. Twisted's trying to knock at my door and say, we got to do this rock music shit. They're knocking at my door saying, we want to play that style of music. They're knocking at my door saying, let's do this. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you over my fucking awesome music. What were you saying? Huh? Yeah, okay, I'm just going to go back to rocking the fuck out right now. And that's where it stands. Do I have any hatred towards Twisted? No. Do I have any hatred over towards anybody at M&E? Maybe. I do have Fuck Mike t-shirts available over at teespring.com/FMikeOfficial. That's teespring.com/FMikeOfficial. Twist is getting left behind. Yeah, huh? Oh, someone's at the door? Oh, it's Twisted. Tell him come back later. I'm busy. Rocking out to some Dropkick Murphys and shit. I'm not into Ouija machines, but I'm going to hate on him either. He's doing good. Oh, Ouija Mac? Yeah. So, I don't like Ouija Mac's music. I don't. I hated Gutter Water. I hated the fact that he ripped off the Nevermind album cover. That pissed me off, and I've said as much. I thought that was just a flat-out fucking irritation. Who do we got here? Kenna Impars. Hi, Sid. Much love. How you doing? I wish I could see your profile picture, so how you doing, huh? Go ahead and shoot me a message anytime. He's supposed to be signing to M&E from what I heard. No, he's not. Ouija Mac is not signing to Magic Ninja Entertainment. I'm here to tell you, Ouija Mac is not getting signed over to Magic Ninja. That is never going to happen. Ever. I wish I could mute you, Sam, for just a second. But I'm going to say this. Ouija Mac is not flipping sides. Ouija's dope. Ouija is definitely like psychopathic for life. But I also think that it's going to be him and Hoodoo left on that label. I don't think they're taking on any more artists. I think they're simply just like, I think this is them preparing for their retirement. I think that's what this is. I think this is their way of slowly leaving the throne and leaving it vacant and letting people think that they're still in it, that they're still in the kingdom's fucking room, whatever room that is. So I'm going to say this, and I mean this with love. I don't care which side you're on. I don't care if you're on a side or no side. I'm here to tell you this. And you look me in the eye when I say this to you. If you're absolute shit, if you've done me wrong, if you fucked me over, if you were condescending and patronizing to me, understand this. I hold a grudge. I mean like how crows hold grudges. They never forget a face. They never forget a face, and they'll never. They're very unforgiving birds, just so you know. A little fun fact about crows. And I'm exactly like that. I may never be 110% cool with you, ever. That might be the case. If we had beef once, that could be a continuation until we have a sit down and say otherwise. I get a clown from Cant and Boris. I like that, Cant and Boris. I like that name a lot. Sid is going to kill me one day. No. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make something very perfectly fucking clear. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I am going to keep doing what Sid Jones is doing. Fucking regardless of everything else. I'm going to keep writing my books. I'm going to keep being here on Twitch. I'm going to keep being over at the asylum. I'm going to stay busy. And I'm going to be signing a contract next week. Now, I'm going to make this very clear. I cannot and will not be bought again. I am not going to get picked up from a company and asked to change something about me. I'm not going to be working with IBW ever again. I will not be working with Rude Boy ever again. I'm not going to be working with these people from Psychopathic Records. I will not be working for people from Magic Ninja Entertainment. I will not be working for George. I will not be working for Jump Steady. I'm going to be working for me as an independent contractor, and I will be signing other contracts to make deals just to kind of do the legalities thing with other people. That is what I'm going to do. You're not going to see Sid Jones signed to a record label. You're not going to see Sid Jones working with this label exclusively. That's never going to happen. I don't even care if it's Dropkick Murph. It'll never happen. I'm going to stay true to what it is that I'm doing. I'm not going to be working for Welcome to the Underground. I'll be working with some of the artists from there. I'll be working with some bands that are down in South Carolina. I'm going to be hanging out with some of the people that are up in New Hampshire. I'm going to be hanging out with artists, promoting artists, working with Extra Overdose, shit like that. That's because he's my boy. It's because I love him and he's got dope music. But it's got nothing to do with status, label, etc. Now, if there's people that's what they want to do, their dream is to one day get signed to Psychopathic Records, I'm not going to shoot your dream down. But understand this, I'm just going to ruin all the spoilers. So if you thought that one day you'd see Sid Jones sitting next to Jump Steady, smoking a blunt, being like, hey, life is good, right? It'll never happen. It'll never happen. Ever. I'm never going to be that dude that's on stage dressed as a clown spraying Faygo. It's never going to happen. I'm not going to be the motherfucker that you're going to find setting up the stages, wiring up shit. I'm not going to do that. For one, I don't know shit about plugging shit in for sound. If that happens, the stage might go up in flames. But I'm not going to be working with these headliners and these artists and shit like that. I'm working with people that I believe in. I'm working with people that I like, with music that I like, and so on. That is what I'm going to do. And if you are on this network and you are an artist and I fuck with your music, then you get to promote, do all your shit. You can do the hip hop shows, all that. And Twiggy Drode makes some solid fucking music. He's definitely into horror films more so than I am, and I love horror movies, but this guy's knowledge of horror films goes deep, deep to the bottom of the ocean. So I commend him for that. But I'm saying if you are a music artist, doesn't mean you're shit. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I've listed the bands by name that I recall that were so bad I will never forget them, and that is unfortunate, and I wouldn't wish that on any of you that are in the chat, or those of you that are not in the chat that are tuned in right now. A huge salute to each and every one of you for being here and being a part of this. Now, Twiggy writes, I recommend Haunt. Tell me that's not a foreign film, please. Are you speaking my language? I'm going to do my own thing. Right. Now, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to do my own thing. Candy's going to do her own thing, and we're still here on the network working together. There are some people that don't like Twiggy Dro, and there are some people that don't like me. And guess what? Twiggy, me, Candy, we're all sticking around. We're never going anywhere. Regardless, we are like here. Crazy McCormick, here. And so we are like the top 4 for this network, which isn't saying much. And I'm sure that's why some people left. They were like, wait a minute, we're the 4 in this network? Like, I'm out. Like those are your top 4? Yeesh. I've seen the ratings. I've seen the ratings, but we're going to be here permanently. We're not going anywhere. We are right here, and we're going to keep doing whatever. Like, I never, ever tell somebody what they're doing. I always make a suggestion as to, hey, let's cover some more horror shit. Let's talk about what's coming out for horror films, considering the theaters are still closed. Like, they closed again. They were open to 25% capacity. I'm like, theaters can't run on that. They're going to fall to shit. So all the movies got pushed to 2021. All the good movies got pushed to 2021. All of them. So I'll sit there and give a recommendation. If Tech 9 dropped a single tomorrow, I'd probably make somebody review it off the network because it ain't going to be this guy. I'll probably bring it up at some point, whatever. But I will say this, there are some dope underground artists. So while I just shout on a bunch of them, let me give a shout out to one. So definitely be checking this guy out. I actually really like this guy. This guy's sick. And I found his music earlier. I'm going to have to find it again real quick. Let's see. Where is that? Where's it at? Where did I put it? I saved it into somewhere. Got it. Here it is. I had it saved onto a playlist, which, by the way, you should be checking out on Spotify. We got a bunch of those playlists. Look up Asylum. You'll find a bunch of ours. What the fuck? Why is this not working? Check out this guy. Not that song. That song's terrible. This is the one. That's dope. Gibby Stites is his name. Definitely check him out. I mean, that one song was fucking no way. That was no bueno. But this song's fucking solid. It's called Bluntville. And again, I'm not a stoner guy or whatever, but it just sounds good. It reminds me of that old school hip hop, which is what I like. I like that old sounding rap. I can't stand this new fucking auto-tune shit. I can't fucking stand it. So definitely check out this guy. This guy is going to be making moves. Garen fucking T. His name is Gibby Stites. Make sure you guys are checking him out over at Spotify. This is him right here. This is how you spell it. Right there. See that? The Gibby Stites. So guys, make sure you're checking him out. Show him some love. Tell him Sid Jones sent you. Trust me, you're going to want to do that. Especially if you're with my network, you're going to want to do that. Because I'm your boss and you love me dearly. And you trust my judgment. There's a reason why I might be telling you to do that. I've already listened to City Morgue. Check my Facebook inbox when I'm done. I'll just check it right now because fuck it, I guess. Streamlabs live streaming app. Okay. Dude, I don't use my phone. I'm not installing that app. I've got very little space on my laptop and phone. I appreciate the offer, but no bueno. No bueno? No thank you. Moving along now. Let's see. What else did I miss? Is that like a paper bag or something that Corrupt Dolly put? She says, I'm staying here. Wait, you're my boss. I'm fucking, I think the majority of the people that chat right now work for me. If I'm not mistaken, the majority of the people in this chat work for me. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that these are my employees. This is your boss. You keep that in mind. I want each and every one of you to think about that. For the network. Anyways, with this being said, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sid Jones. I did not like covering this topic. I didn't like talking about, one, I feel like I was a broken record player. Second, and more importantly, it's just, we didn't even really get to like the major points of it all. I really fucking could care less. And so tomorrow will be Master Debaters, and then I'm gone until Saturday over at the Asylum. So Asylum, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I got a very special interview lined up for you guys. Not happening this coming Saturday, but it is lined up. It is in the works. I can't fucking wait. If you guys ain't down with this, fuck what you think. I'm going to see you tomorrow night live, either at 6 p.m. or 8 p.m. 6 p.m., right? Is it 6? I think we go at 6. Much love to each and every one of you. thank you for tuning in here, and much love. Salute.